It's a tough one because it's a multifaceted issue when we look at women's participation in the workforce in Western Sydney versus the rest of Sydney. We look at rates of unpaid care. And not only do women in Western Sydney provide more unpaid care than their counterparts in the rest of Sydney, there's a real clear gender gap between the proportion of men who are providing unpaid care versus women who are providing unpaid care.
Now, that speaks to something, Rhonda, that you rose, I think, in your report around budget time last year. We talked about unpaid care. What else can we say on that particular issue?
Yep, so as Tom mentioned, there is a gender discrepancy in who's providing unpaid care, but if we compare it between Western Sydney and the rest of Sydney, women in Western Sydney are providing more unpaid care than women in the rest of Sydney. So the impacts of this gender dimension in providing care and how it affects income levels, long-term superannuation, this is more greatly affected and felt in Western Sydney.
So that means that the really tuned-in voter impacted by those issues is going to look at things like the prevalence of care and the way the care economy is treated, etc., flexibility in work. So it's not just an economic or straight-out labour market question, it's about all those other things.
Absolutely. And I think that the COVID-19 context in changing the way people work has really brought these questions to the forefront in people's mind. And this will be the first election we have following these lockdowns, following this context, and I think it'll bring out some of these key questions will start to resonate in those voting patterns.